Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wheel of Freedom. My name's Phil Marie, and this is Wally Kopazinski, and over his shoulder
That's my buddy.
is Soros the zombie. And look, our other visitor disappeared already. Isn't that weird? He was up there. So, tonight, we got kind of a interesting show. As you guys know, 94.9, we talk a lot about Lee Elsey and JB and how great of a job they do. So we have a couple different issues. One, Wally, as you know, JB is going to be called, DJ JB is going to be calling in about 3 minutes. So what we're going to talk about with him will be the Ferguson issue. And then if you guys can see right here, I'm not sure if you can see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
You see, I'm going to knock it over. I got to, Wally, stop. We're going to drop it. You know what that is? That's my birthday cake, Wally.
And your birthday's today or yesterday?
It's at midnight.
6 months ago.
It's at midnight.
Midnight? Oh, okay.
It's at midnight, Wally. So I'll be 39.
Yeah, and the left leg.
Left leg.
Yeah, only one leg is 39.
You know what? There's what's the name of that? There's a show that brings a dog or something here, but last week it was stinking. And I was blaming you. I was blaming you, Wally.
Yeah, you would.
Well, this dog here over here. What's the name of that show? Grandma's Attic. And they bring dogs in here.
I never knew that.
You don't smell it? It's disgusting, Wally.
I had my nose broken.
Well, over here it was smelling. Oh, look at it. Where is that? Is that dog crap? Wally.
Right back there.
Oh, nasty, nasty. Reg, take that off there. What the heck?
That's disgusting.
That is is disgusting. That now
It's JB line one.
That was dog crap in the corner.
Okay.
Well, this is weird. We got JB calling in. There was a show before us that had dogs in here. Look at it. That is disgusting. So anyways, JB's on the line, so we're going to talk about this Ferguson issue, all right?
Okay.
And we might as well bring him on right now, and let's have at it. Hey, JB.
Good evening.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, Wally?
Hanging in there.
Hey, JB, before we get into the serious stuff, there's a show that does that brings dogs in here, and we kept smelling something. And over in the corner, believe it or not, there's dog crap.
Look at that. That's disgusting.
Nice. That's a nice touch. Okay, that's my lead-in, huh? Pile of dog manure.
It's amazing, but nonetheless, it is what it is. So,
Well, let's talk about something else that stinks.
exactly, and it really stinks. So, in the reason of for the viewers watching here, the reason I wanted JB to call in because he is a retired state cop. He's a law enforcement analyst. Does a great job with Lee Elsey. And there's a lot of issues that I don't understand, and that Wally, you don't probably understand because we don't have law enforcement background.
Well, I want to ask JD a question.
JB.
JB.
Okay, Wally, sharpen it here.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead and ask JB.
JB,
Yeah.
we know this brown guy robbed the store, and he had a partner with him. Now, everything we read in the newspaper and on the news, he's being quoted, and everybody's taking it for a fact that what he's saying is true. My question to you is, why hasn't this guy been arrested? It's on television, it's on video, that he was robbing the place with his buddy, Brown. What can we do?
Wally, it's a fantastic point. So the question basically is, how does the accomplice become the star witness?
That's right. Yeah.
And it's part of the unraveling commentary that we're going to have to swallow, as difficult as it is for us to do that. It's the whole situation, Phil alluded to it today, that It's a bad situation. The people that are rioting there, they're not protesting. They're not exercising any rights. They are looting, they're robbing, they're causing destruction and property damage. And at the same time, there's reports that the police department is unable to function as they did prior to this robbery and then subsequent shooting. There's people, there's citizens, there's 25,000 people who live in Ferguson, Missouri, that have no police services now because of the distraction of the unruliness.
Now, from what I understand, they're not going to have the police out there tonight. They're not going to have...
No, but, and that's another good question.
Yeah.
There's something that occurred this weekend that was a common theme. The Democrats, senators, and representatives in Washington, D.C. have picked up on it. The new buzzword is the militarization. They need to review the militarization of the civilian police. So if you take this from the first night when the chief of police deployed the appropriate manpower with the appropriate equipment, they were ordered away by Eric Holder, and now, 4 days later, we are bringing in the National Guard. So tell me how much more militarized can you get than soldiers? And soldiers are being sent in because the state police hasn't been able to work effectively. And I got to tell you, it saddens me tremendously that this Ferguson Police Department, I actually emailed a lieutenant there today to say that law enforcement stands beside them no matter what. And that the actions of one police officer, and we don't even know yet because we don't even know what happened to the cop. The cop got banged up in this altercation. Nobody cares about the cop.
Well, from what I've been reading, this cop got punched out, and that's when he drew his gun, and he was still in the car. I believe, and this is only speculation, that he shot this guy at that time, and that's when they took off. They start running. And because he's so big and strong, the bullets weren't penetrating any parts of his body that would really hurt him. And what I understand, too, is he turned around after he ran away and come charging that police officer, and that's when the police officer continued shooting at him. And the only way he could stop him is shoot him in the head. And I think that's what happened in this case.
Well, you're entitled to presume that. I would never Monday morning quarterback. It's kind of my personal policy not to. And what I want to see happen is I want to see the investigation roll out. They've already impaneled the grand jury. I haven't heard one person say that they've gone back to the scene of the crime to try to recreate the crime as it may have likely occurred. There hasn't been anybody talk about collection of evidence or preserving the crime scene. All that stuff has gone out the window, Phil and Wally, because the mission is to control the information, to control the media, to control the investigation, and control the outcome. That's not justice.
Now, JB, the issue that bothers me is that the Obama administration and the Department of Homeland Security are pushing these military surplus. Homeland Security is pushing this towards the police departments. So why are they now speaking out against such equipment?
Well, the program began, I want to understand, sometime in about 2000. And since then, there's been about $4.5 billion worth of military surplus equipment deployed to police departments. Now look, there are times when these armored vehicles are utilized. They spend a lot of time parked. A lot of time they spend parked. But look, this is about, and I mentioned this today because it's something I feel strongly about, and I think Wally probably has grandkids. We have become a visually addicted nation. We're addicted to the handheld device and the Game Boys, and we're visually addicted. We're addicted to the snapshot, and then while we're sucked in by this snapshot that we're allowed to see, which is only a portion of what's actually going on, we have then the twisted commentary that we don't check. We not seem to be willing to say, hey, wait a minute, let's look at this a little bit. Let's give this some time. Let's shake this thing out. I can tell you that if I got the call tomorrow to go to Ferguson, Missouri, I'd take that street back in a hot second. I would reestablish control. I'd reestablish law and order. And if folks want to congregate and protest peacefully, pull a permit at the town hall and come out and be peaceful and use dignity and respect. But short of that, fill up the wagons full of unruly people, because I'm not going to have it in the street, because I want to see what's going to happen later on. Who's going to pay for all the businesses that have been ruined? Right now, the businesses that haven't been ruined are the businesses whose owners are standing in the doorway with a gun.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
And JB, I mean, for the most part, the way I've seen it is, I would say the great majority of the police are good people. They don't want to shoot and kill anyone. They're just there to do their job. But as you know, there is a few bad eggs in this world, and I went through it up in New Hampshire just as well. And but the thing that bothers me, and I know it bothers you, is that the majority of the people are looking at cops as like these thugs now.
Yeah.
And they're not. They're good people. And JB, you're very close to many of them, and you can certainly testify to that.
Yeah, the rollout for this, Phil and Wally, is going to be bad. I mean, it's going to continue.
Yep.
They haven't gotten control of this situation yet. They haven't. They've got the National Guard. So everything that they've implemented, other than the fact that they've completely and totally undermined that police department. That police department will never be regarded as the respectful police officers that they were before that incident where that kid challenged that cop and there was an altercation. I hope that Missouri has a resident trooper program, because they're going to have to go in there and take over. It's a horribly unfortunate, and I got to be honest with you, my wife met me at the door on Friday when I got home. She could tell that I was broken up a little bit. I've worked with federal, state, and local cops across the country, and Phil, you're right, 99.9% of them would die for you. That's the oath that they take. You know, you think about the average business person, I mean, and I'm not taking away from anybody's profession, but what's a bad day at most people's profession? It's not dying, and it's not being like this. They fought to release this police officer's name. And what are they chanting? These people that are coming together to protest peacefully and reasonably are chanting, what do we want? The cop's name. They say the cop's name, I'm not going to say it. How do we want him? Dead. That's the reasonable, lawful, respectful congregation of people coming out to exercise their constitutional right. They're calling for the man's death.
Yeah, JB, I have a photo here that after I'll show the viewers of the new Black Panthers leader, Malik
Shabazz.
Yeah. And he's the one you're talking about, with standing there with the state police, the black man there.
Captain Johnson.
Exactly.
Johnson,
and coordinating. But so you have these Chicago communists that were bussed in. Also, you have the new Black Panthers in this group. Why do they have to be there, JB?
And Sharpton, don't forget it.
Well, Sharpton too. Yeah, JB's lunch partner.
Yeah, he was actually Dr. Savage. I was headed down from the WJJF campus, and Dr. Savage was talking about how could we possibly be surprised that a guy, Reverend Al Sharpton, who's been in the White House more than 100 times in the last 5+ years, is got a prominent position, screaming and yelling today from the pulpit about the poor family haven't had an opportunity. They haven't had a chance yet to bury their son. Well, they haven't had a chance to bury their son because they're peddling his body around to be examined by this doctor and that doctor. There will be 3, at least, autopsies done. The coroner, for Missouri, the official coroner, where all victims get sent as a result of a potential crime or a sudden unexplained death. So suddenly, apparently, that guy's been undermined because that wasn't good enough. So they bring in Michael Baden from New York City.
Yep.
He does the examination. And I got to tell you, a forensics examination is not just an examination of the deceased. It's the other physical evidence that came to the scene. So even this professional, he's 80 years old, had to say today at the press conference that the family had, mom and dad, who haven't had time to bury their kid, but they have enough time to have a press conference to show the autopsy photographs. I mean, this is crazy. The only person I haven't heard from in the last 24 hours is Trayvon Martin's family's attorney, who's representing this kid's family. I mean, the whole thing is so far removed from normalcy. A police officer having an interaction with an unruly 18-year-old kid, and subsequently the kid gets shot. We don't know anything else about anything else that transpired other than the film of the robbery, a felony robbery that he committed before he got to the cop and had a fight with him.
And that has something to do with this case. I know they're trying to say it doesn't, but it has something to do with this case.
Well, Wally, if you got to take the whole situation,
yeah.
And the background in a legitimate investigation, this kid's state of mind, what he's doing, what it's in his system, what he did 24 hours before, all of it is relevant to the crime. It's all part of, and I can tell you right now, and I'm going to reference this tomorrow at my show at 4 o'clock. If this same thing happened in Connecticut, I'm going to explain how the whole thing would have shaken out. It certainly wouldn't have been what seems to be a progressive circus and a racial event that need not be. 26 kids got shot Saturday and Sunday in Chicago. Nobody has heard a thing about that.
No.
Al Sharpton's not there. I mean, we know about what happened in Philadelphia, not only at the voting booths by the jackbooted thugs from the Newback Panthers, but how many phone calls did the president make to the 109,000 women who's decided to have abortions with Kermit Gosnell? Were there any riots when we found out that he killed 109,000 kids over 30 years? Did we hear anything about that?
No. Very little, very little.
It's a shame, but I tell you, I can't emphasize this enough.
JB,
I might be wrong.
JB, I think this is a test to see how the public reacts for bigger riots coming down the road, and I just feel that it's some sort of test. And you know, also that Savage has been warning about the coming civil war. He has a book coming out, and you can just see this stuff materialize. And even on the front page of the Day today is people protesting in New London.
You know, that's a good point. I didn't get a chance to get that today, but I wonder who pulled the permit for that gathering. You know, you can assemble to speak about an issue, but in most places they require a permit. I wonder who pulled that permit. I know the mayor of New London was present, and I know Ernie Hewitt was present, and the mayor of New London actually spoke about apartheid and how he wouldn't allow apartheid in his city. Well, I don't know where that word came into the equation. I just don't know, but it is it's unfortunate because what I would want to ask the girl that was photographed and pictured in the New London Day, why are you protesting? Why are you protesting? Does anybody protest the fact that a police officer in the United States of America is killed every 58 hours? I don't hear any other protests. I really am at a loss for exactly how this is going to shake out at the end of the day. And believe me, if the cop executed this kid, I walk to Missouri to help him lynch him. but I suspect that, there's a chance that we may never get the actual truth. It's a terrible day for law enforcement, local guys, state police, federal. It doesn't make a difference.
Now-
It's a terrible day.
Now Eric Holder's going out there Wednesday. That's what Obama said today in his news conference.
Yep.
Actually, while you were on the air, JB, I believe. And but what's Eric Holder going to do out there?
Well, I would ask you, how much do you think it cost for Barack Obama to fly from Martha's Vineyard back in Washington, D.C. to supposedly speak to his military commanders about Iraq, and then speak about, or get a briefing from Eric Holder on the situation in Ferguson? I mean, could he have taken could Obama have taken a phone call walking from the putting green back to the golf course and be briefed? Do you know the enormity of the assignment to fly the president from one spot to another? 2 motorcades, 2 planes, Martha's Vineyard, all the way back to Washington, D.C., and I understand he's going to be back at Martha's Vineyard for happy hour.
I wouldn't doubt it. He probably got a party going or a fundraiser.
Gentlemen, it's been my pleasure. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to come on the Wheel of Freedom on MetroCast 25. It's my pleasure, and I wish I could be watching you, but you're on my minds.
The article says Department of Justice, Communist, and the new Black Panthers hijacked Ferguson protesters. Leader of militant group pictured coordinating with police.
That's Shabazz?
Yeah, that's Shabazz right there, the new Black Panthers.
Yeah.
So why are these people there? Right?
They're looking for justice.
But why are they there? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Reg.
Yeah.
Is that dog crap?